Hey there folks, this is GreenyXI welcoming you to episode 3 of Let's Play Rain. What we're going to do in this episode is take on the rest of chapter 2 and actually make a start on the third chapter, which the rest of chapter 2 is actually really interesting, and I'll leave it for you to see as we go through. And here we go. We're about to head into the church, which really reminds me of the one in Resident Evil 4 from the outside. Resident Evil 0 more so, I think, actually. It's a really nice change of pace from the town outside. Okay, so our main objective this time is to get through that door and see the girl. I like how all the colours are so bland, but they still make sure to have the coloured stained glass windows that churches have. I really like that. I wasn't really sure which way to go. I thought, you know, when the camera goes to that angle, we would need to go through there, but apparently not. We need to go through the door on the opposite side to the girl and find our way through that door somehow, through the other door. It looks like a dead end, doesn't it? But I don't need no hint. Oh, here we go, the unknown. This is where the church gets interesting. It's not as harmless as you'd think when you first go into a place, which I think is quite nice actually. It would have been a bit dull without an enemy, I think. Okay, new little concept-y thing. Play the organ a bit. I was a little bit worried. I thought the enemy would have come straight away, but no, nothing came along. Try again. No, nothing. But here he comes. He's finally entered the church properly. The fact that he's knocked down that barricade that we saw earlier is going to be a huge help. I actually found this bit a bit tricky, you know, so bear with me a bit. If we take the key, the enemy will see the key running around even if we're invisible. So we're not going to be able to do anything with that. I wasn't really sure where the enemy was going to go, if he was going to come in here, if he was going to do anything. But no, it's just standing outside, waiting for us to progress a little bit. Those newspapers or cardboard box things were annoying as hell. They saw us right away. Git. And it looks like you can't actually go back through the window by here, so you couldn't have got the key and ran around the outside. It's a very specific way they want us to do this, by the looks of things. Let's try this again, shall we? Oh, that was close. That was close. Oh, and again. Nope. Didn't quite make it. We didn't get... It wasn't too far off though, you know. Let's shut these curtains a sec. Okay. Let's try it again, shall we, folks? I actually understand what to do this second time around though. I sort of get around it. Get my head around it, you know? So this is how you actually do it. Stay invisible for a sec. And there we go. You're meant to wait for him to walk past a bit. I thought he would have gone right up to the organ, you know, if he didn't move. So I was a bit worried about that, but no. there we go, the unknown is gone. Barricade is gone, so we can just walk on back to where the girl went. Right, when you examine this door it says it's locked from the other side. So how can you unlock it from this side? Does it work? I know you can on most doors, but... It's like when you were playing Resident Evil or Silent Hill and it said locked from the other side. You couldn't unlock it from... you know. Yeah. Oh, here we go. It's such a nice little area, full of colour and everything. Full of sadness as well. Okay. Here comes the factory, folks. The church is done. I wouldn't mind it spending a bit longer in the church. It's a nice area. But here comes the factory. And chapter 3. Of about 8, I think. Yeah, this is the trophy. End of chapter 2. Okay, so the dead factory. Dead factory. Bonus points if you know where that's from. Is where we will be spending most of chapter 3, Separation. By the name of the chapter, you'd think we won't be seeing the girl at all this chapter, maybe? Because we're entirely separated. But, yeah, never know. Bit of muddy water. I hate the muddy water. It doesn't look like it should do much, but it really does when the enemies can completely see you out of the rain. The outside of the factory isn't really much different from any of the town area really, but it's when you get inside. Here comes a new enemy. He is huge. Look at that thing. But don't worry about them at all. I was really wary because they're so huge. I thought they could catch you up easy and kill you off. But they are harmless enemies. They're not enemies at all really. Which I thought was nice. Nice to have some of these weird creatures that don't try to hurt you, you know. I was a bit lost by here. Took a few seconds to figure out where to go. I didn't want to go towards that creature, you know. But in the end I had to. As you can see, he provides shelter when you're under him, as the game just told us. So you need to use them like this. Not quite like this. That was awful. That was really awful. Oh well. But you need to use them like this. Oh, I had to stay back a sec. Just until the little dog enemy went away. Run! This was a little tricky part actually. Trying to stay under the shelter. And not letting the dog see you. Especially with that puddle in the middle just then. It did see us, it did. But somehow we got there in time. Anyway, that's the end of that little part. And into the factory proper. Okay, Well, this has been Greeny XI. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you again in the next episode when we check out the rest of the factory and finish off chapter 3. In a bit.